said. I'm not saying. What I'm saying in his defence, Odegaard right now is the best 10 in the league.
Is that what you think?
I agree with him, yeah. I agree with him. But I'm saying...
Right, so you agree with him. So if I gave you a game tomorrow, after watching Kevin De Bruyne tonight, and you had Odegaard or Kevin De Bruyne in a team to play in a cup final tomorrow...
Odegaard. This season.
Oh my God.
This season.
Big call there from Jason Cundy. What do you think? Odegaard or KDB? Who has been the best 10, the best attacking midfield player in the Premier League this year? I want your thoughts and I want your feelings in your comments below. Smash the like button. Always do that. Make sure if you're subscribing, you click the bell notification button as well, because the algorithm is not your friend. And scan the QR code there on the screen to get access via Spotify to the top 6 podcasts that we release twice a week. Get that done. Let's get back to what these boys are saying.
You've got Kane and Odegaard up front. I've got Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne.
It's fair. Odegaard this season he's just because he's Arsenal, isn't it? Do you know what?
It is because he's Arsenal, 100%.
Do you know what it is? Right? It's Arsenal. Sort of, I've just realised.
Kane. You've took Harry Kane. I'm a Spurs fan.
I know, but you're bitter about Spurs at the minute. You're a bit funny about Spurs at the minute.
He's very, very hurt. Because I told you, Arsenal have broken Spurs.
What's going on?
No, I'll tell you what's going on. Is I've sit here for 18 months having to work with this absolute idiot of a man.
What's happening?
Who puts Odegaard in front of Kevin De Bruyne?
This season.
And that's the point. I've seen a lot of people, me and Big Steve will probably go through this later today as well. It's like you can't judge people on form or this season. But that's always been a football conversation. Who's been the best striker this year? Who's been the best goalkeeper this year? If you have a player that's been the best for 3 years and then he has an off year, people take his kind of position in terms of that season's performances. Ironically, the team that wins the league every year is the best team that year. They may not have been the best team over the last 5 years. But you could sense the bitterness here from Jamie O'Hara. And I just think listen, everyone knows I love Bruno Fernandes. I actually think Bruno Fernandes is having his best season ever in a Man United shirt. It's led to a trophy, less goals and assists than normal. But his overall performance and leadership for the majority of the season has been great. But Odegaard has just been sensational. When you look at the goals, you look at the assists, the fact that he is the leader and galvanized the team to go from 5th to being 5 points clear at the top is sensational.
Have you just watched Kevin De Bruyne play tonight?
Hold on.
It's part of a masterclass. You're telling me it was a cup final tomorrow. You wouldn't want Kevin De Bruyne in your team. You'd take Odegaard, who's had a great season. Don't get me wrong. Great season. Kevin De Bruyne, unbelievable for the last 5 seasons. Right now, performances this season.
This season.
Odegaard.
Oh, Odegaard.
This season he's right. And Jason's been very careful with his words saying this season.
It's Odegaard.
Jason.
Jay. Face the music. I've told you. Jay, stand up. Stand up now and say, my name is Jamie O'Hara. I'm a Spurs fan.
I'm working with a brick wall.
Jay, stand up now. Stand up. My name's Jamie O'Hara. I'm a Spurs fan and Arsenal win the title. Just stand up and say it.
Honestly.
I'm helping you out.
I can't deal with this anymore. I'm going to have to break. I need a coffee. 03717 223344. I've got to leave the office.
Just stand up and say it. Go on, stand up.
He left. You see, I've been telling you all for ages. Arsenal, 110% have broken Tottenham.
Champions League with City. And he came damn close, but lost out to Chelsea. Unless he wins it, it will not be looked upon as a spell in his career that was fulfilled.
Listen, he has to win this. He has to win it because he has the team, the resources, the support mechanisms, and everything behind him to be able to achieve that. And there's been no great teams in English football that have dominated the English football and not won Champions Leagues. Liverpool did it in the 70s with the European Cup. Manchester United have done it as being the poster boys of the Premier League. And Man City need to do it. Arsenal haven't. So we can make a case for that particular situation. But they didn't dominate football for the significant period that Man City have done.
Sure.
You know, and so with all that in mind, I think it's incumbent upon him to deliver an outcome. I don't think you then take away and go, oh, what a terrible manager he was, because he's...
Spot on. I just wanted to listen to that through because this has been my long-standing fault. Pep Guardiola's legacy is not damaged by not winning the Champions League because he has won it twice. He's not a checkbook manager. He's not an overrated manager. He is not any of the pejoratives that get suggested, the nasty names he gets called, the banterous things. Listen, he is on course to be entering into the GOAT conversation. Some people already think he's the GOAT, but in terms of his time at Man City, 110% for this team to move from being a brilliant domestic team, a dominant domestic side, to a European powerhouse, to go into the conversation to be one of the greatest teams of all time, which, by the way, would then have two of Pep's teams into that conversation, which is a massive stride towards him being maybe the GOAT. They need to win a Champions League. The best Liverpool, the best Man United teams, the best Ajax, the best Barca, the best Real Madrid, the best Inter, the best AC Milan, the best Bayern Munich teams, all won Champions Leagues. So I think it's absolutely right. But this is where the two conversations get mixed up. Spaces are the worst for this. People are talking about his, I want to make sure I word this right, his legacy in football's damaged if he doesn't win it with City. No. This Arsenal team's, the size of this City team's legacy is what would be damaged, not Pep Guardiola's overall career. But I certainly think he does need to win it. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this, because you could clearly see Pep Guardiola's feeling the pressure, talking about Julia Roberts. That's a bigger disappointment than not winning the Champions League, blah, blah, blah. You saw City fans on the show last night try to, there isn't pressure, there isn't pressure, there isn't pressure. They say it's because they're humble. No, it's because they don't want the pressure of being put upon them, but they have to win this to be one of the greatest sides ever. Otherwise, they're domestic powerhouse, but they're not a European powerhouse. And surely you want to achieve the greatest accolades. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on that, people. Big breaking news for Manchester United this morning. UEFA president was asked about the potential conflict of somebody owning two clubs in the same competition. His response was, "We are not thinking about Man United only. We have 5 or 6 owners of clubs who want to buy other clubs, want to buy another club. We have to see what to do." Now, this is massive news for Man United fans, because there has been a sort of feeling that the Qatar bid may not go through, may not happen, may not come to fruition because of the situation with dual ownership. Of course, it's still a little murky, and although on paper it's different people, there's the ownership of PSG. What's going to happen? Reading that statement there from UEFA, that kind of tells you they're going to let it happen. We've got more than one club owner that wants to do it. It probably means more money for everybody. Therefore, let's allow it to happen. As a Man United fan, listen, we've seen, I knew they would allow this to happen, because all they really care about at the top level of the game is money. And as long as there's money coming into the game, they're not going to be overly bothered. Equally, as long as there are not rules being broke. So Man United get PSG in the Champions League and PSG rest their best players, that's when you'll start to see a problem. But look, they're going to allow it to happen. It's good news for Manchester United. This week's an interesting week for the takeover as well, because the face-to-face meetings are happening over the next 5 to 7 days. This is when we really are going to motor towards what's happening, how things are progressing, what needs to come next, as an example. Now, this comes at the same time as news has been released that Tottenham Hotspur are not willing to sell Harry Kane this summer, even with the 29-year-old, who's in the last 12 months of his contract, does not sign a new deal. Spurs are already playing hardball with this deal and saying that we are not selling him. It doesn't matter what the player wants. He's a Tottenham player and he will be staying. That is the narrative being painted by Tottenham. But my view is very, very simple. Very, very simple on this, and I stand by it. If Man United get new owners, whether it's Osimhen, whether it's Harry Kane, they will get who they want. They will pay the required money to get these deals over the line. There's no doubt about it in my mind. So United are going to be linked with a lot of players. Spurs, of course, are not going to come out and say, we're willing to sell. And I know that you'll get some journalists that will say, you've got to take Tottenham at their word here. They'll be resolute. They won't sell. They won't let him leave. You all know my stance on these things. That could very well happen. But I am more about, let's see the wood for the trees. Let's see what happens in reality as opposed to what's being said. I still think there's a big chance he leaves. I still think there's a big chance that Manchester United get him. He's my number one choice. So maybe I'm going to believe it a little bit more than you, but I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. As I mentioned already, hit the like, share button, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications. I want your thoughts and feelings on the subjects we've discussed so far, but please make sure you've scanned that QR code on my screen right now or clicked on the link below to follow the Top 6 podcast exclusively on Spotify. Now, in other news in Manchester, it is said here that Gvardiol is one of Manchester City's priority targets this summer. Chelsea and Liverpool are also interested in the Croatian centre-back. This has come from Fabrizio Romano. Now, what's really interesting about this potential deal is the quality of this player. It may not have been displayed last night when Man City absolutely tore through RB Leipzig. We saw Messi get the better of this young man, but he's a young man and he's got a lot of improvements to make, but there is a huge, high ceiling and potential with this young man. City adding him to, I mean, I don't know who leaves. Laporte maybe, but City bringing him in would be fantastic business. And this is one of the reasons why everyone, I rate the kid. I rate him as a player. I think this would be a tremendous signing for Manchester City in every single which way. It really, really would. I think this is also just a kind of precursor to a lot of football fans that City are going nowhere. They may lose the league title to Arsenal this season. They may miss out on winning a trophy altogether. It is conceivable they don't win a trophy this year. But that does not mean for a single second that Manchester City are going to fall away, that they're not going to come back, that they're not going to go out in the summer and spend money. In fact, if they go trophyless, that could be scary times because they would probably invest that little bit more. And if Gvardiol is just one example of players they're going to be looking at, don't be surprised if they go in for the likes of Jude Bellingham, a Declan Rice, a Frankie de Jong. These are the types of players that they'll be looking to bring in and have the capabilities of landing. So this is just one of many big targets you'll see them looking at. And if Pep Guardiola's staying, and if he's revitalized and he's getting all of these players, listen, the idea that it's going to be Man United and Arsenal kind of taking back over the Premier League, they may both be in the race next year, which I think they will be. But City, by no means out of it. Everyone who's tuned in, I want to say a big thank you to each and every single one of you today. It means so much to us here at the Terrace that you tune in so frequently, so regularly, give us your views and opinions, irrespective of what team you support. Hit the like and the share button, subscribe to the Terrace, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.